Last night I was judging a pitch competition, and I and the other judges all noticed something about almost all of the pitches. They were going way too fast. They were just tearing through the material and leaving us really bewildered and baffled about what it was they were talking about. And so I wanted to jump on and do a quick episode talking about this issue, unpacking why I think maybe it happens so often and some ways to think about this to try to avoid the problem yourself. Hi, I'm Lance Cottrell. Welcome to Feel the Boot, the science of startups. I'm here to help entrepreneurs along the early stages of their journey. So if you're a founder, I want to help you avoid some of the pitfalls and dangers that are out there and achieve the success that you want. And I can do that because I've been there. I've been a founder and I've made all the mistakes. I'm also an angel investor and advisor to many, many companies, so I've seen their mistakes too, and I can help you avoid them. I'll also share with you the knowledge that I've developed over years about how startups work and all the sort of intricacies that it's so critical to understand, but so hard to learn. I know what it's like. It's a vertical learning curve. There's so many things you need to master all at once. So Feel the Boot is a collection of all the things that I've learned. It's things that I've learned personally as well as interviews with other experts, and it should give you the tools you need to be successful. I think the reason that these founders were going so fast through the material is not too hard to guess. They had only 3 minutes to pitch their company, and they had so much they wanted to say about it. They really felt a need to rush to get through all of the things they thought we'd need to hear, and therein came the problem. It ended up being this just continuous flow. It was like a fire hose of words that were completely undifferentiated. So there was no point at which you knew that they were making a big point. They're stopping to emphasize something that it's really important you hear, or clearly define what their differentiator is. It all sort of sounded the same. And there was no time to think. They were going to race through whether or not we were keeping up, because they wanted to get all of that information across. But often, especially when you're saying something important, we need a moment to stop and take it in and internalize it before we're ready to hear the next thing, that we've really understood it. So the paradox here is that you really need to say a lot less. And the less time you have, the more rigorous you need to be about what you cut out. Because frankly, there is no way that you're going to say everything important about your company. It's not possible. You're going to need to pick and choose. And this is where it's critical to remember that this isn't about closing the deal. You don't need to get someone to write you a check after this one meeting, which means they don't need to know everything about your company after this one meeting. Instead, you need to make sure that they get the idea, that they understand what you're trying to do, they understand the market, they understand the customer need, they see the size of the opportunity, and the whole thing sort of makes sense. And ideally, they understand what your key insight is. What perspective do you have that's going to make you win against the other competitors in the space, whatever they are, the status quo, some other startup, some established player, whoever it is. You need to be making a really strong case that you understand something that they're missing that's going to allow you to get there. But that doesn't take too much. So pick a couple of things that really highlight your company. Focus on those, maybe say them more than once, make sure those get emphasized. So for example, one of the companies had a fantastic founding team, and they were smart. They led with the founding team because they had this incredibly applicable background that instantly showed that these guys understood the problem and knew where they were coming from. Great, start with that. If you don't have an amazing team, I'm going to assume you have good people and that you are a reasonable team to be running this company. But if it's not a team of rock stars, then don't spend a lot of time on it. It can go towards the end of the deck, and you just need to make the case that you're a credible group of people with good experience who can be trusted to take on this mission. But it doesn't have to be the dream team. But if you don't have the dream team, then you need something else. Do you have some amazing insight or an incredible technology that you've developed or patents that you've licensed exclusively which are going to revolutionize things? It can be a million different things, but pick a few of them. All you need to be doing here is convincing us that we should take that next meeting. So if you've got 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, even 10 minutes, you want to make sure that the most important points land. So say less. Really edit down the information. Even if you know, I need to say something about that, you may be able to go through it really quick. Some points will only take a couple of seconds, and then pause, and then move on. And the pause really matters. Let things sink in. Because when I was hearing these, and this was just driving me insane, is I want to follow. I want to understand what they're saying. But they spent 2 seconds on some topic, and as I'm trying to work out what do they mean by that 2 seconds, they're now talking about the next topic and the next topic. And because I'm still thinking about what did they mean when they said that thing that I thought was important, now I've missed the next 2 things and I'm trying to scramble to keep up. Really a problem. So far, far better off. Take a breath, slow it down. It was funny, in the chat in this pitch competition, the founders were talking to each other about the problem of getting out of breath. They were literally almost hyperventilating or forgetting to take deep breaths, and it showed. And the key here, again, is just own your time. And it exudes confidence. If you can slow down what you're saying, you're owning your space. You're owning your time. You know the points you want to make. You're not just trying to fill the time available, but rather convey the information that you want to convey. And then you allow them to understand that, and you move on. And that makes you look like you are in control of the situation. And we know that a lot of the bets that investors are making are based on the CEO. And that has to do with a lot of those soft issues that ideally it wouldn't. But in fact, the job of a CEO to a great extent is to communicate. And so demonstrating that you're a strong communicator is in fact important. And so that is a big piece of it. So, very long way of saying, take your time, slow down, say less. Thanks for watching this episode of Feel the Boot. I hope you found it useful and interesting. And if you did, I'd like you to do me a favor. Please like the episode. And if you have any thoughts, comment. It makes a huge difference to the algorithm and gets this in front of more people, helps me reach a larger audience. And that's the whole reason I'm doing this, is I want to help as many founders along this journey as I can. I remember how tough it was when I walked it, and if I can make that path any easier for other people, that'll make it all worthwhile. So, till next time, ciao.